Well, hello. Today we're doing the 2003 Hallmark Channel movie, A Carol Christmas. Carol Cartman is the host of a daytime talk show. She treats all her employees horribly, especially her personal assistant, Roberta. While taking a nap in her office, she is visited by her late Aunt Marla. Marla is the one who taught her to behave so horribly. She now must wander the earth, but she tells the coming of three spirits that could save Carol from the same fate. The ghost of Christmas past is Gary Coleman, a former child star of a popular sitcom, now middle-aged and forgotten. He shows Carol her beginning as a child actor. How at a school play, her Aunt Marla bullied her way to the starring role. Later, she does have a romance with John Joyce, who runs the homeless shelters. The man wanted to propose to her, but Marla pushes him away to advance Carol's career. She also finds out, though, that Marla was more interested in advancing herself financially than her niece's best interests. The ghost of Christmas present is William Shatner, who is Dr. Bob, a Dr. Phil-type talk show host. He shows her the home of her assistant Roberta, who lives in a dumpy place. And Roberta is visited by her former husband, who wants custody of her daughter. Then he shows her the home of her sister. They open the presents that Roberta bought for her, but they are more than $20 that she authorized. Roberta didn't want them to think Carol was cheap, so used her own money for the difference. The ghost of Christmas future is James Cromwell. He's a silent, sinister chauffeur. He shows Carol how miserable she is as a Jerry Springer-type talk show host. Later, as an old woman in a beat-up car, she now does celebrity appearances for opening new retirement homes. Where she is also forced to stand out on the street and hold a sign. Finally, she sees her funeral. Only Roberta and a production assistant attended. Roberta lost custody of her daughter and is now estranged from her. Carol pleads that she'll be good as she is put in the coffin. Waking up, she changes and is nice. She gives Roberta a card for her lawyer and gives all the staff a trip to Hawaii, as well as donating her name to endorsements for her ex-boyfriend's homeless shelters. She then goes to her sisters and reconciles with her and the family. And she also meets her ex, John, and they reconnect, supposedly to have a nice happy ending. Okay, so this is A Carol Christmas, a 2003 Hallmark Channel movie. I think I saw it back when it first came out, just looking for something at the time, and I really enjoyed it. And right now it's kind of like a tradition of mine that after Thanksgiving, this is like the first Christmas movie I watch. I kind of like this movie, obviously. It's based on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, which has been one of the most probably adapted stories in human history. I mean, I looked through it, looks like the first movie was made in 1901. I mean, there's been so many movies made, so many adaptations. I mean, even stuff like The Muppets, Flintstones, Mickey Mouse, all that have done this stuff. It's obviously a very popular story for Christmas. And of course, this one is kind of 21st Century Update. A little play on the words of the title. They made her Carol, a woman instead of an old man. And she's a daytime talk show host, who we find out is a really horrible person to work for. Kind of like Ellen, really. Even now it's been exposed that she's wasn't a very pleasant person to work with. And of course, she goes through the journey. Her Aunt Marla, which I suppose was a nice little play on Marley, was the one who guided her through her career as a child, kind of bullied her and taught her to be really a mean bitch. And, she's gets, of course, visited by her, and then she gets visited by the spirits. And, the spirits are really cool. Gary Coleman, remember from Different Strokes, he kind of basically plays himself. And, then there's William Shatner, who can, plays William Shatner, this kind of Dr. Phil type talk show host is what he's supposed to be. And then, there's James Cromwell, who is the sort of the Ghost of Christmas Future. And he's actually uncredited in this movie. I guess it's because maybe he never had any lines to say. He was completely silent. But he did a real good job. It was a real good casting for him. He looked pretty sinister. And, there's obviously, the Bob Cratchit character is played by a woman, a single woman, who has a daughter. And instead of daughter being, crippled to die, they kind of updated it with, her ex-husband's going to sue for custody. And, of course, she loses it in the future and gets estranged from her daughter. And obviously, that's one of the things Carol has to do, which is, give her lawyer so she can keep her daughter. And, she also finds out that the plan was to make her a kind of Jerry Springer type talk show. But she decided to turn it around and instead make her a kind of Oprah Winfrey, where she's just giving out gifts and goodies all over the place. And she also gets to reconnect with her boyfriend that she abandoned, which is nice because, she's young enough. She can still do that. She's not like the old Ebenezer Scrooge, who it's just too late. So, this is a good, solid movie. It's fun. I think, if you want a new take on the Christmas Carol movie, this is a good one to explore. And so, thanks a lot. Merry Christmas. It's that time of year. And if you stayed with me this long, you're a unique individual, and I thank you.